Right, thank you for staying with us. And just to give you a recap of this, of the conversation we're having before we went on the break, we're talking about a tweet we found where a man is saying that his wife visits her family at every given opportunity, especially when he is not around. And we are asking if there's anything wrong with that and would like to hear your thoughts on this. So you can join the conversation on giving us a call on 081-270-53687 or 091-390-76948. Or you can tweet to us at TVCconnect using the hashtag #YourView on TVC. Now, before we went on the break, we're talking about the psychology of getting married. There are some persons that it takes them a while to get to understand that they are married, for them to understand that I will be living with this man now. And this is a huge responsibility. It's not like they were not prepared to get married, or they were, no, they were prepared. Psychologically, they were, oh, I'm happy to get married, I'm committed in a committed relationship and all of that, looking forward to walking down the aisle. But after the vows, and perhaps after the honeymoon, they now come home. And then you realize, oh, this is real. Now the journey begins. Because I had that situation. I had that situation where after we returned from our honeymoon, and then we got back home that evening, it just dawned on me, it hit me. Hey, I'm married. Am I sure I'm ready for this? And then I began to cry. I was not telling my husband, I want to go home. I want to go home. I was telling my husband, I want to go home. And, you know, he had to pacify me, and then it dawned on me that, okay, this is real, and you have to wake up to the reality and responsibility of getting married, that you cannot go home as regularly as you want, and that the partner you have is ready to make the home comfortable for you. So both of you can work together to grow. It's not that at every given opportunity, oh, I'm running home and all of that. So the partner you have also matters.
Very important.
Yes. What kind of environment, like I mentioned earlier, is this person creating for both of you to feel comfortable in one another's arms or with each other, such that you guys are willing to work together and grow and ensure that you make the marriage work, and not that you are running out at every given opportunity because you feel, oh, this is not my father's house. He's not treating me the way my dad would have treated me or the way my mom would have treated me. Or maybe because there are other issues that you feel that you are running away from. Of course, you always have issues. You are two different persons. How are you ready to resolve that? What kind of conversation are you willing to have?
Veronica,
Ma?
your story is the man for me. Your story reminds me of myself also. When I first got married, I found out that I would just be looking at my husband. I'll be staring at him. And he'll say, babe, why are you looking at me? I say, hey, man, it's for me. In this house. How? And then he would just
enjoyment.
He would just laugh it up, and I'll be like, I don't get it. How would a old man? My parents would say I should go and leave. I did the wedding, I did all of that, but reality didn't dawn on me about 2 weeks after. You know, because he's my friend, so we just had the regular, you know, playing and all that. 2 weeks after, I just looked at him. I went round the house, and I sat on the floor and I was crying.
Are you serious?
I was. As in, I was really crying
I was the only one that
and wailing. I want to go and meet my mommy. That's what I was. I want to go and meet my mommy. You know, my husband now called. He's as if, mommy. He's as if there's a situation here, right? Even the church too. The church I grew up in, from like 6:30 till like 12, you are still in one service and you are, you know, comfortable. In my husband's church, 1 hour, you're done. I'll now tell my husband, please, let's still go back to church, because I didn't feel, that I'd gone to church in like 1 hour, you see. And so I think these things also matter. For this lady now, she may just be going through a phase of adjusting to that reality. But at some point, we must snap out of it and say, because this is like, you're having a larger part of your life to spend with this person. So it takes a while for some people, but, you know.
We have Joseph on the line from Benue State. Joseph, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Oh, Joseph, I would have loved to hear from Joseph, really. And it must be said that the matter of transitioning, maybe these are the conversations that we do not get to hear when people go for marriage counseling and all of that. Because you hear people say, they did not tell me this one, no, they did not say this, they did not say that. These are issues that have to be looked into. How do you transition from being, perhaps you were independent, you were staying on your own, you had your car, you had everything and all of that.
Maybe it would be easy to adjust.
You know, and now you are getting married. How do you ease into a relationship with someone now where you have to be submissive or be committed and take responsibility? When you now get married, you can't just make certain decisions on your own. You can't just walk out of the house and say, okay, I have to go somewhere without telling anyone, telling your partner that I am going out or I am going to do this. Because that was another issue for some persons. When I read the tweet, why should you tell your partner that you want to go and see your parents and then he will now deny you that this and that and that and that? And all of that.
I think when you're getting married, you should just let it sink in that your partner now becomes a priority. Because there are some people there are some individuals who still struggle with managing the bonds that they have with their parents and the one they have with their partners. So you find some men saying, oh, my mother first before my wife. You find some men say, oh, my wife before my mother. You know, but you have to understand that your spouse is your number one priority, because the Bible has said that a man would leave
father and mother.
Father and mother.
And
but our audience is a mixed audience. Let's understand that.
Okay.
I hope now you're talking about the Christians.
From the Christian perspective, I'm sure they will have, you know, something equivalent to in the Quran like that. So you are leaving your family to build another family with this person. So they are your priority. So because you can have a misunderstanding with your parents and be fine for 1 week, maybe not utterly fine, but you can tell her, Mom, you did that, and then you can rant to your husband about it, and then you guys can, you know, have that, you know, he gives you that solace to say, okay, I'll talk to Mommy, blah, 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 blah. But if you have a misunderstanding with your husband, in one day, you might not even get your
mood swing.
You'll be having mood swing.
Tell me about it.
It will ruin your whole mood. Even it can last for a week. It depends on how you let that misunderstanding to linger. You know, so that tells you the bond that is between the husband and the wife. So you should always make sure that they are priority, and then just let it sink in that you are now grown.
This brings me to the matter of relationship between the husband and the wife. Talking about if you were friends before you got married, how were you communicating? Or, so if you found out that when you guys got married, your wife was going to visit her parents regularly, did you sit her down to say, babe, what's going on? Why are you always going to see your parents? Is there something I'm missing? What do you want to tell me? Or is there something you need to tell me that I do not know? Or is there something, I'd like to understand why you are always going to see your parents, so that he knows if it is something he can address, sit up on, and perhaps, you know, look at how he can occupy that space, because it's a space in her mind as it is that needs to be occupied, and for now her parents are the ones that can occupy that. But if she can have that conversation to say, you know what, I find eating my mom's food quite well, delicious and all of that. I like to eat my mom's food, or I just like to have this conversation with my mom. And you begin to ask her questions, probing questions. Okay, what kind of conversations? What direction? Okay, and you now have an insight into why she's always going there. Then you can now begin to see how you can take up that responsibility if you don't want her to keep running away. Now, oftentimes, most people do not like to take responsibility when it comes to marriage. You are committed to one another, and you say you'll be there for each other. So if there is a gap that you feel that something is going on, and this person is not, you know, talking about it, you can call the person's attention. Have a roundtable conversation. Why are you doing this? it's affecting us. It's affecting me. I don't like it.
Or he's feeling left behind.
I'm feeling like you feel you are more committed to your parents than us. Don't you think we should look at how we can address that? What can we do to address that? Okay, if you want to see your parents often, okay, can we reduce your visitation to perhaps the weekends? We'll go together.
Exactly.
So you watch how the conversation they're having, what it is that they are doing that makes her want to always go back home. Are you ready to take up that responsibility? Because there are those who will tell you, well, I have too many things to deal with. Following her up and down is not why. It's not my business. It's not my concern. Let her be. But no, it's your concern. You both are living together. It is affecting you whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Follow her there and say, okay, twice a week we'll go and visit.
But they should just have a schedule.
This
week, we go and visit your parents, maybe once a week. No, once in a week. It's fine just to go and check up on, because your parents are, aging. You don't know when they will leave. Then the other part, so once you're doing it for your wife, you do it for, if he still has parents too. The next week, you switch it to the husband.
Yeah, we do that. I do that.
Balance.
We do that.
Yeah, so there's balance.
My husband and I, we do that. We ensure that we strike a balance. Yes, we have busy schedules. We can't run off to say, I want to go. But the bottom line is that you must have conversations with your partner to understand why they are taking certain steps or decision, to know how you can work with them better. We need to quickly go on a break. When we return, we'll have another conversation. To stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us. I hear we have some comments, so let's quickly take that before we move on.
Okay, on YouTube, Mutala Akonde says, no one says you shouldn't visit your family, but there should be a moderation for there to be peace in matrimony, and for you to be a person of honor anytime you visit them once. Then Benedicta says, I know of a man who kept going to his mom's place after work before getting home, and he eats for like 3 months. The wife kept enduring it. Then she also locked her kitchen and started going. Her husband would meet her there after work. He begged and begged before she started cooking again.
I like, if you can do it, I can do it too.
Let's cook and be eating.
Since that's what you enjoy. Oh yeah, let me join you in enjoyment.
Benedicta goes on to say both couples should reduce going back home after marriage. They can do these visits together except in emergency or if need be, right? Another person says, Aunt is a fool. If she doesn't have children, she should divorce him.
No. It hasn't got into that.
I mean, the comment section is just blowing out right now.
I would have loved to hear more, but if that will solve the problem, where if you can do it, I can do it too. Let's
be eating together.
Sit down and eat together. This thing that you are enjoying, let me enjoy it with you too. There's no problem.
And for some women, it feels like, cooking may seem like a chore for them, or like some other ladies that just enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
So if it's that type of lady that I'm even cooking, I'm even tired, I'm still cooking, I'll gladly
lock my kitchen. Let's sit down there. You are here. Welcome.
It's the part when she said he had to beg and beg before she started cooking again.
Of course, because of the pains of going through. You know how women will cook and then the man will tell you, I'm okay, I'm okay. She's like, after putting in all the effort, you're telling me I'm okay. She now understands where it is you're going. Let's go and rest. Let's go and enjoy ourselves. All right, the next conversation now is that we found another tweet about a woman who says that if she ever has birth complications, she should be saved and not the baby. And then a man replied to that tweet and said, yes, he will tell the medical team to save both his wife and child. But if they cannot, then he will have no choice than to go for the baby, because according to him, he cannot leave his blood to go that way. You can... You can join the conversation. Let me read out the numbers again. 081-270-53687 or 091-390-76948. Or you can tweet to us at TVCconnect using the hashtag #YourView on TVC. Now, what is the woman to you?
That very valid question.
Some see them as a possession.
Baby machine.
Because I'm trying to understand. Yes, birth complications can happen at any point, And now if they're saying one person has to go and all of this, you look at, okay, you can have babies. If you think, okay, because there's another scenario that some persons painted saying, if they have been looking for a child for years and then they have the baby, she now has complications, they should save the baby because they've been looking for the baby for years and the woman can go.
How?
And I'm asking, so what of the scientific methods out there? If the issue is, okay, you've not had children for a while and now your wife has a child and there are complications and one person has to go, and you're saying because you're not sure if you will have another baby, they should let your wife go and all of it. What about scientific methods, IVF, surrogacy, and all of it, that now, yes, you talk about financial commitments to that, you will work towards it. And you are saying that the woman is not your blood. Who is she to you? What definition
Veronica, sorry,
do you give to a woman you told you love and married?
Took vows or vows.
It says a lot because right now I am wondering, how do we view our partners? That's the question on my mind. And I would want people to call in to share their views on YouTube, Twitter, and calling with the numbers to talk to us about this. Because, okay, we have a caller from Ikorodu joining the conversation. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on your view on TVC.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a first-time caller.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm so much happy. I'm saying very much. So, to contribute to the matter, the issue on ground, for a husband to save the child because they've been looking for children, to save the child and lose the wife, is a wicked. Let me just use that way. The man is a wicked husband. Because we have many ways to get children. So, okay, now, if you save the child and let the wife go, who will take care of the child? What eventually, God forbid, the child dies? Can't you have another alternative way to get children? So, for that man to say, let the wife go and keep the child because they've been looking for child for many years, is a wicked man. Let me just say it that way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Princess.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, that is her perspective, that the man is a wicked man. And it may not necessarily be that the man is wicked. I don't know what name to call it, but I don't want to use the word wicked. But how do you view your partner? That's the first question. A lot of persons, I think these are conversations that have to be, we should begin to have. When you say, okay, you get to this critical point, who should we save? You sit with your partner and begin to, and why? Why are you saying that your wife is not your blood? Well, from the Christian perspective, when the man and the woman come together, they have become one.
One flesh.
So is this person trying to say that his mother is not his blood?
No, his mother gave birth to him now.
No, now, since he said he cannot leave his blood to go that way, so the wife is not his blood, right? So in his own case, his mother that gave birth to him is not his blood, but his father is his blood.
I think aligning with, Madam Princess's thoughts, it's just sheer wickedness.
Right.
For you to choose your child that you haven't even had a bond with over someone you have dated and married, lived with for God knows how many years. Exactly. Because, and that brings me back to that question you asked. How do you view your partner? This man probably views his wife as a baby factory. I just want to, maybe he was not even ready to commit to the marriage. He just wanted kids.
Now, why did you get married?
Exactly. So he probably...
What did you tell the woman?
Because there's no
was it
way.
a transactional relationship that, okay, I just want to have you as someone that will be having my babies and that's it?
Maybe that was the mindset he had, but he didn't communicate it to the woman. Because for him to have actually said he would prefer to save the baby over the woman, his wife, actually tells a lot about his character and his mentality. Because this is a woman that you've lived with, you formed a bond with, she's supposed to be your friend.
Supposedly formed a bond with, because obviously there is no bond.
Exactly. Because so if the child goes, you can always make another one. Because she's the one, you know, carrying the child. So if you now bring the child to life, or if you save the child and let the wife go, have you considered the emotional effects that would have on the child?
Because and on you.
Because he cannot take care of the child. He would have to take the child to a relative, maybe mother, sister, and you do not even know how those people would raise the child. So I don't think the person is a deep thinker, because any deep thinker would not have made that kind of a statement.
These conversations are just, it's unfortunate when women or men majorly find themselves in situations like this when the push comes to shove, right? When it is now in the scenario, you now begin to say, okay, this is what my decision is, when you would have sorted it out way before while dating. Okay, bring up questions, scenarios like this. Okay, so in a case of X, Y, Z, what would happen? And then you, from that, those questions like that, you can even know whether this is the kind of person you want to spend your life, the rest of your life with.
What if he told you what you want to hear?
Well, and some men are actually good at hearing that.
That's another perspective.
Saying that, yeah.
What if he told you what you want to hear, because he knows, he has studied you and knows that, okay, if I don't say things that she would like to hear, it could cause a rift between us and I don't want her wahala. So let me just tell her what she wants to hear and let us move on. It is until you find yourself in critical situations, then you know who your partner is, truly is. It is then you'll know if they have the capacity to manage certain situations in such a way that it doesn't affect you psychologically or any of the partner, either of you at the end of the day. Yeah. So you find yourself, because we had a neighbor, and unfortunately, after I think about 9-8 years, the woman, they didn't have a baby, and the 9th year or 8th year, she fell pregnant, and there was complications, and she passed, unfortunately, but the child was saved. I understood how the man felt. It's like the man never even recovered, losing his wife.
That's a man that has formed a bond with his partner.
Of course, losing his wife because of that child. I am certain that he could have said, you know what, we shouldn't have even started this journey in the first place.
Exactly. Because
they had that bond. I knew how this man felt for years, because we were neighbors for years. He didn't recover. I could beat my chest to say he did not recover.
There are some men that do not even care about children. They don't care about having children. That's why you find a couple that have not conceived, you know, for several number of years, and the man is unbothered, because as far as he's concerned, as long as his wife is enjoying his companionship with his wife and they are living fine, children at the...
They can come
later.
Whenever.
Yeah, but he's not going to stress himself over that, because it is the companionship that matters. Because when you have these children, at some point they would also leave you to go and, you know, build their own lives. So it is still your wife that will be there, you know, to...
You'll be there for each other, actually.
Exactly. You know, to be friends, to talk, to chat. So this is your lifelong partner that we are talking. This person you have decided to do life with.
That's why
and you would rather let that person go just because of a child?
Why do
you get married? There are many reasons why people get married. Some for companionship.
Being insensitive.
Sometimes some people say that's like the first reason. Then some for procreation, which is like another reason for marriage. However, irrespective of
whatever the reason,
there are some values that as individuals we cannot compromise on.
Yeah.
So what's in scenarios like this, what would this other person do? What would, you know, because I look at this situation now and I say, okay, so after the wife actually goes, this man will marry somebody else.
Yes.
And you know, that's like a mindset for some other people. That now woman,
I go
see
get
another person.
one.
Maybe now to take care of my pikin, I will find somebody else. Do you see? And that's when men begin to take women as possessions or consider them as possessions. Like they have a project, they want to get married, they've gotten married. Okay, what's the next big thing to come?
Start churning out babies like ice block. Chaka, chaka, chaka.
Unfortunately, that mindset, it's not healthy, obviously, for our society and as a person. Because when you keep passing down that kind of mindset, seeing a woman as a possession, you can always get one and all, you forget that whether you like it or not, that one that left, there is a vacuum. And you are the one denying that that vacuum exists. And it would affect you psychologically because you will be looking for some of the things she did in the next woman.
Next person.
And then you put unnecessary pressure on the next woman. Yes, she's a project, but you are not happy. Deep down within you, you are not happy. That's why you always go out to find solace here and there. These are the issues. If you are trying to look at the underlying issues why people respond this way, it is either upbringing, he did not have or feel that love and bond from his parents. To understand that you do not see a woman as a possession, as something you can easily discard.
You've acquired.
And pick up. Because, okay, there's a critical situation and we are looking at how to save, except the situation says, you know what, we can't save this woman as it is. As it is, we cannot save her. Then you know that the situation is critical and that she has to be let go. But where there is a chance of saving her, I think, this is my thoughts, you can decide not to agree with me, but I think that the woman should be saved because you can always
get another one.
Have a child, whichever means. Although there are people who do not believe in surrogacy and IVF, adoption, and all of those, a child is a child.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the mentality of those people. Because why would you use your own eggs, to bring a child into the world, and then you're saying that, you didn't carry the baby? It's just similar to the mentality of those who say that having a CS is not
natural birth.
You don't represent
doesn't make you a woman.
It doesn't Hebrew woman. You don't come across as a Hebrew woman just because you had a CS. That it was an easy way. Some people just believe in suffering. There's no. I know somewhere in the Bible it says something about having long suffering, but to me, there's no award
attributes of love.
But there's no award for suffering. If there's an easy way out to achieve this thing, just take it. Surrogacy, somebody else can carry the pregnancy while you go chase your goals. And then when the baby comes, it's not like the baby will go and look like the surrogate mother, or the surrogate mother will come and claim the child after you guys have. Because
there are processes for you to involve a surrogate.
You can even adopt. There's absolutely nothing wrong with adoption. To me, there's nothing wrong with adoption because there's so many children out there that are looking for parents to nurture them. So instead of bringing a child of your own into the world, or if it's impossible, why don't you just do that charity work and also just agree to it, just allow it that, okay, this is my child. Don't have that mentality behind you that this is not my child, because by the time you start reminding yourself that this is not your child, that's when, you would have a kind of disconnect with the child. There's some women who have children that did not even grow up to take care of them at the end of the day.
Right.
It is total strangers that came to take care of them.
Right.
So we need to start thinking beyond, oh, my child.
And I talk now. Our culture or the environment where we are, has placed some stigmatization on conversations like this. When people will say, until you have your own, until we see the pregnancy like this, your tummy, some may even begin to make side comments saying that, no, she get that pikin. You see, they're saying, our parents also thinking that, so there must be some form of enlightenment
Yeah.
going on around to say that, you know, these things are also options, and it was God who gave the knowledge, you know, for science to come up with solutions like this for people, and we should all embrace it with open hearts.
And it is this kind of mentality that is fueling, you know, all these baby factories everywhere. You find all these baby factories that, you know, they would go and kidnap young girls. Yeah, kidnap young girls. Then they would bring in a man somewhere to impregnate them because they need to go and sell the babies to the people who are actually in need of them. Like, why do you have to go to that extent to have a child? It's just because some of these people still believe in all these societal standards that, oh, the society must see me as a woman that carried my baby. Some even, and some of these baby factories, from the stories that I've heard, when you go to them, they would give you some kind of medicinal herbs that will be making your tummy swell.
Look as if you're pregnant, just to
deceive. Just to deceive and just to gain validation. To what extent? So I think these are conversations that I have to
very important conversation.
Yeah.
You see, the matter of what he says he would not allow his blood.
Yeah.
How we see ourselves, like you guys have said it all, thinking that it is only when the child comes out of your loins and all of that, that the child is your child. We are all one another's keeper, brothers. If we see ourselves that way, I think it will go a long way in changing our mentality. Yes, we do not have to come from the same tribe, religion. That is why we get this matter of profiling. Oh, no be my family member. Oh, no be this and not that, this and that and that and that. I think it's a mentality that has to be addressed. It's a foundational thing.
Yeah.
We need to go deep down to the roots where you see people talking about why is she there? No be to born, it must be my Pekin, this one, and all of that. We must begin to look beyond saying that certain persons are blood. We should see each other. Then we can look out for each other and not do each other harm. Because it's concerning to me the kind of mentality this man has. His wife should go because she's not your blood.
This kind of person shouldn't even have gotten married in the first place.
Who is your wife to you? What did you even say to her that she agreed to marry you? Well, no, because it's interesting to know what he said to her, because obviously he might even be lording things over her and she has no say because he's the man. Nobody is disputing the fact that you are the man, but when you don't see your wife as part of you, there's something fundamentally wrong with you. And that has to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Because it will affect or reflect on the kinds of decision you will make in your home.
Exactly.
That will affect the
children.
woman. The children, the woman, everybody in that home. Because that's what it is.
Marriage is a lifelong investment, right? So this kind of man, if he gets married now, just like you said, I do not know the kind of children he would raise, because he would not show an example of what love is to the children. And then when the marriage is damaged, I do not know the kind of child he wants to raise in that kind of situation.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap things up, but when you are getting married, just one quick advice. Have critical conversations. Ask questions in difficult situations. Just paint scenarios of difficult situations and get the response, and ensure that it is not a matter of the person, your partner, telling you what you want to hear, but telling you the truth.
Do not ignore the red flags too.
It's
very important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll have our guests joining us. Stay with us.